Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. I'm Malik Hodge, and this is War Alert. Brothers and sisters, we are witnessing the abomination of desolation, the war that is taking place in the Middle East, and has been since October 7th of 2023. Brothers and sisters, the abomination of desolation, which was spoken of through Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place. The abomination of desolation, this abomination that is destroying the Palestinian people. Brothers and sisters, false Israel's abominable, cruel destruction against the Palestinian people is the abomination of desolation. The abomination of desolation, which it states, let the reader understand that the abomination of desolation is the greatest sign given in human history of the time that we are in right now, through scripture standpoint, from God's words of what is to come. Now, abominable is the adjective to abomination, which means causing moral revulsion. And Hamas's uprising has been suppressed by false Israel's abominable, cruel destruction. Now, this abomination of desolation, this genocide that's taking place, have caught the attention of the nations of the world. And the nations of the world has become angry. They are protesting. They're calling the UN for war crimes against false Israel and America. America is supporting false Israel. Britain is supporting false Israel in this abominable, cruel destruction. They're supplying, they're funding the weapons, they're backing these acts of terrorism against false Israel. Against Hamas, against the Palestinian people. And the world nations have been allowed to see that America, false Israel, and Britain, and the West, along with the West, have a double standard. The same laws that they use to condemn and sanction nations, the same laws they're using to keep rulership or status quo over, these same laws do not apply when it comes to America, false Israel, Britain, and the West. So this has also caused these nations to understand the true nature of America, Britain, false Israel, and also the West. They understand that their nature hasn't changed. And their terrorist neo-colonialism actions and viewpoints are the same. They're still backing and committing genocides and causing terror and separation in nations and causing wars, murder. This same agenda has not changed. Now, brothers and sisters, the abomination of desolation is the trigger to the apocalypse. So this event or this war would take place, and it will begin in the holy place, but it will escalate. And in its escalation, Michael and his angels of him, of the two, war with the dragon, and the dragon warred, and the angels of it. Now this is Michael and his angels will go to war with the dragon and his angels. Michael and his angels are Master Farah Muhammad is Michael. His angels are Iran and Syria, as well as the Shia Muslims. They will go to war with the dragon, who is the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia, Britain, false Israel, and America. Is the dragon's angel. Now, this war has escalated. This is what the scriptures share. This is the beginning of the apocalypse. And they're sharing that this war has escalated into World War III. And nations and the world is on the edge of his seat, waiting on the response of Iran, one of Michael's angels, and that response can or will send us or the world into World War III. So the scriptures laid it out for you that occurred war into heaven is the abomination of desolation that you're witnessing. Then the war escalates as it has. Now, brothers and sisters, that's where we are today. And the only one that is sharing the abomination of desolation of what it is from scripture standpoint is the messenger of the covenant, or Daniel the prophet. Let's say the messenger of the covenant the Lord whom you seek. Now, stop this. Now, this is Malachi 3:1. It says, behold, I will send my messenger, who will prepare the way before me. Then the Lord whom you seek will suddenly come to his temple, the messenger of the covenant, in whom you delight. See, he is coming, says the Lord of hosts. Now, the messenger, Elijah Muhammad, will prepare the way before him. Brothers and sisters, it could not be backwards, because Master Fard Muhammad came, taught, raised up the messenger, gave the messenger his assignment, and left. And the messenger prepared a way for me, the messenger of the covenant, the Lord whom you seek, that will suddenly appear in the messenger's temple. The messenger of the covenant. Now, brothers and sisters, all right, brothers and sisters, the messenger of the covenant, the Lord whom you seek. What covenant? Brothers and sisters, in the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Brothers and sisters, this is the Abraham covenant that God promised Abram's seed. This is a covenant made from God, Allah, to Abraham and his seed about what is called the promised land, the land full of milk and honey, the land that the true seed of Abraham would acquire. Now, brothers and sisters, the only one sharing that has brought and reminded the original black man and woman of America of the covenant is the messenger of the covenant. So look at what's being presented, offered, and given to you. The covenant that was promised in Scripture, that was written 25,000 years in advance, that has come full circle and is being shared with the original black men and women, the true seed of Abraham, the original black men and women of America. Now, brothers and sisters, the covenant goes hand to hand with the vision, because the covenant gives you the reward, the finishing, what's covered, what's promised that you will receive. Now, the vision is what you would endure through, what you would give up, what you would sacrifice for. This is like zakat. You gave. For a later reward. Now, let me share. Now, okay. Let me make sure I got this. So, this vision that Abraham had it, brothers and sisters, shares. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, and horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterwards shall they come out with great substance, and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again. For the iniquities of the Amorites are not yet full. In the fourth generation they should come, return, they should come hither again. Brothers and sisters, this vision of Abraham's only applies to the original black man and woman of America. The original black man and woman of America is the only people that was taken from their land, took to a strange land, and enslaved and afflicted for 100 years in that land. 1619 to 2019. Easy math. Brothers and sisters, now you have a nation, Saudi Arabia, sitting in that land that is promised to you. And they're making a claim to being what? The seed of Abraham. They're making this claim that they're the true seed of Abraham. They're the ones that get this, that the covenant is speaking on. However, they're sitting on the land that they've stolen, and they haven't been through 400 years, but they're making a claim and they're sitting on the land. So the Muslims is making this claim, the Sunnis, the Ishmaelites, from Hagar's son. Now, then you have false Israel that America and Britain set up to nullify our claim and to also used to to cause the world to see false Israel as the true seed of Abraham. So they put false Israel, set it up as an image to the world of being the true seed of Abraham, and use false Israel to to keep the minds of the world from even rotating on being the true seed of Abraham, because they've finalized or what is it, or justified false Israel being the true seed of Abraham. So they took and tried to put a period to the scenario, to who's the true seed of Abraham. And America and Britain set this up after the truth was shared that the original black man and woman is the true seed of Abraham. Now, brothers and sisters, this is what we're speaking on today. This being the true seed of Abraham, being the people that can apply the vision with the covenant. Brothers and sisters, the United States government, nations, these nations that claim that they're the true seed of Abraham, have come together and have made a plan and conducted a plan to keep the original black man and woman from understanding that we are the true seed of Abraham. To keep the original black man and woman thinking that they only have one option to being successful in America or being successful in this reality, and that is the American dream. So, brothers and sisters, the goal of our enemies is to separate us from the covenant of Abraham that applies to us because we have endured through the vision, and we not just went through the vision, we're the true seed of Abraham. Now, brothers and sisters, why can nations make this same claim that there's a true seed of Abraham and don't fit the Abrahamic covenant? I mean, the vision. The vision doesn't apply to them. However, they're set in different positions as claimers of the vision of the Abraham, and they're claiming that they're the recipients of the covenant. Now, so Saudi Arabia, the house of Saud, is sitting on our land, sitting on the land from the great river Egypt to the great river of Euphrates. They are being protected while they're sitting there. Not only did they put their name on Arabia, they're being protected militarily to sit there or be there by who? Other than America and Britain. They're backing, defending the house of Saud. False Israel. They have been set up so they're set up as the real thing by America and Britain. They're backed, they're funded, they're supplied, they've been set up all by America and Britain. Now, America says that they're the true seed, the spiritual seed of Abraham, and they use it as to why they were able to conquer or take the land of America from the natives. And they were allowed to kidnap us and bring us over here, where we be, and enslaved for 400 years. Now, these nations, brothers and sisters, are all out to keep us from accepting who we are. Now, everybody that is speaking, I don't care what religion they claim they are, Christians, supposed to be representatives of Elijah Muhammad, what do they call themselves? Hebrew Israelites, Morassans, it don't make a difference. Whatever kind of theology that they're trying to push. These individuals, all of them, are thieves and liars. Now, brothers and sisters, let us get, we're going to try to move quickly through this, but bear with me because you need to understand, you have to understand that the goal is to keep us separated and to keep you and me and our people from the light of the truth. For our enemies to be successful, they have to keep us in darkness. Now, brothers and sisters, we're going to start this or continue this from we were kidnapped, taken, and everything taken from our mind. Then, over the 400-year period, brothers and sisters, given, indoctrinated, and fed the mind that you have was built and constructed by your open enemy. Speeding it up. Through all the years, hundreds of years, you were given nothing. Even if you knew how to carry out a function, you know how to do this, you know how to do that, and you knew how to do something, even if you brought in an idea that the white man, that the slave master stole, you still didn't know nothing. You knew something, but you didn't know nothing. You still in the darkness of, in your mind, of self. So you still never knew anything of yourself. And that's the main agenda, to never, if we were kept separated, kept ignorant, kept blind, kept from the knowledge of self, then the Willie Lynch theory, the Willie Lynch that's the Willie Lynch letter, brothers and sisters. Southern horror, Lynch law in all its phases. Brothers and sisters, we're just going to go over a couple of points to get you to understand what's taking place in the mind of your enemy. a long-term effect that keeps you disconnected from who you are. First, taking your mind mentally and turning you completely out of your nature. Now, let me turn this like this, brothers and sisters. Now, brothers and sisters, this is out of the Willie Lynch. And it says, above all, you cannot get them to work in a natural state. Hence, both the horse and the nigger must be broken. That is, breaking them from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body, take the mind. Listen to that, brother. Keep the body, take the mind, in other words, break the will to resist. Now, it's a lot more, brothers and sisters. We're just going through a couple of notes before we continue. Therefore, if you break the female mother, she will break the offspring in its early years of development. And when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. For her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. For example, take the case of a wild stud horse, a female horse, and an already infant horse, and compare the breaking process with two captured nigger males in their natural state. A pregnant nigger woman with her infant offspring take the stud horse, break him for limited containment. Now, we're going to move on. That was just to identify. They've taken our mind. They take your mind, brothers and sisters. They've taken our woman, broke her, and got her, listen, pushing, instilling in the children the agenda, the thought process, the mind of the slave master. That is, she's applying his thinking, his nature, his ideas into the child in its early rearing stages. Now, when it comes to breaking the uncivilized black man, which they call nigger, but the black man, use the same process, but vary the degree. and step up the pressure. Listen to that, brothers. The pressure. It took pressure to change you. Now listen. So as to do complete reversal, that pressure put a complete reversal of the mind. Complete reversal of the mind. Take the meanest and most restless original black man, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male ends, the female and the ends, infant, tear and feather him. Tie each leg to a different horse, face in opposite direction, set him on fire, and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining ends. The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining nigger males or end males to the point of death in front of the female and the infant. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding. Brothers and sisters, do you see in this process? This is just some of the process. But in this process, it's shared that this could last for hundreds of years, or in keeping this process or keeping to it, it can last for, if you can keep them, the mind. This process can, it can last forever because it nourishes, it reproduces itself. Okay, brothers and sisters. So, knowing that this process has been kept firmly to, brothers and sisters, the Christians, the slave master's children, gave you the understanding of your religion. This is the same conditioning that they use to separate the house. They use the woman right now in the churches to keep putting this. And what does the woman do? She takes the child and she takes him to the church to feed him, to bring them up on this lie. this cancer that has been put into your mind by your open enemy. So you got a cancer mind that's been produced by your open enemy that you're putting into your seed. That is 100 totally, it shares with you totally opposite. It's in total opposite of its nature. It's that there, our minds have been totally turned around. This is the process that they had to tend to keep us from understanding ourselves and never getting the truth, or never seeing the light, or never retaining your mind. So, brothers and sisters, the messenger of the covenant, the first thing shared is we. Number one, must get you must get your mind back. You must be well-minded. Now we're going to get into that, brothers and sisters. Now, brothers and sisters, we were animals, considered animals. You were still being killed at will. This is all the way into the 1900s. America hadn't changed. And they hadn't given the original black man and woman any laws to protect themselves. Nothing. And brothers and sisters, we're not talking. So, in the time of this taking place, the churches didn't bring a change. Nothing brought a change to America's thinking. Nothing. America kept doing what they were doing from the beginning. And we were on the tail end. We were still being dominated, killed, afflicted daily. The messenger, Elijah Muhammad, the God came and produced or raised the messenger. And the messenger came and began to give us the light of the truth that Master Farah Muhammad prepared him with. In this time that the black men were getting killed for nothing in America, Elijah Muhammad stood up and shared with us that we're the true seed of Abraham. Made a claim that we're the true seed of Abraham. Begin teaching our people who we are, who our enemies is, who God is, who the devil is. And then took and built a nation from what the people, the people gave, and built a nation that provided food, clothing, shelter, and safety for the original black man and woman. And in America, that was unheard of, because nowhere in America was you provided those natural necessities, and you definitely didn't have any safety. So we didn't ask for anything from our enemy. We got up, Elijah got up and produced from what he had. Now, built a nation inside of America that provided, had farmland, businesses, a newspaper that was importing and exporting, had tractor trailers to deliver food, supermarkets, apartment buildings, everything needed. And we wanted separation, and was after separation from this man. Didn't ask for him to give us anything. Everything we received, we took it. Now, brothers and sisters, in that, the messenger prepared a way before me. Now, the Lord whom you seek, okay, brothers and sisters, from that point, Elijah Muhammad became the most watched man in American history by the U.S. government. Now, movements that were formed after the building of the Nation of Islam, after false Israel was set up in 1948, and brothers and sisters, pay attention, and put in front of the world by America, Britain, they founded and funded this counter narrative that they will use their black-faced children, who are demons, master seed, that they breeded out of our woman, this hybrid that were their children and that will respond as from a child to his father because they were master seed. And he used them in this process of the house Negroes and the overseers. So they made the house Negroes and the overseers to appear like you so that you can look and identify with them through sight and say, maybe one day I could achieve and overcome or be like master's children. That's a process that you've been chasing since being since. And that's the process that they have you chasing today. And it's being done by master's children or paid agent turncoats. People that took paychecks in this world to be rich in this world. They've taken the check to sell their people out. Now, brothers and sisters, so in this process, the false Jews paid, constructed many groups to walk with as if they were to get sympathy from you, as they were putting in your mind, they were installing the mindset into you that you were, that the slave master and the churches children, the slave master's children in the churches push this agenda, this mindset that false Israel was the true seed of Abraham. And this what the church, your open enemy, the same ones, the same people, the same Willie Lynch mindset, use the same theories to keep you in check. Giving it, feeding it to the woman, and the woman feeding it to the children. And this has been going on, my grandma, my great grandma. And this is the same mindset that you brothers and sisters been set in your enemy's mind that is turned your mind 100 degrees backwards against yourself. This is the process that they have continued to use. And ask yourself, who keeps the black man and woman, the original black man and woman, in this mindset? Who keeps them in the church? And the women keep feeding this mindset to the children at the baby, infant age. So they keep this mind of a cancer to yourself. So you're embedding a cancer into your children's mind. So they will never see light. They will never see the truth. They will never know the truth of themselves. This is what they have instilled into you. Now, the false Jews did this, and they paid, orchestrated the whole civil rights movement. Now, understand that. And they walk with you so that you can see them in your mind as if they were this big helper, or this stand, or a image of a people of God that were standing with you to deliver you from bondage or your suffering, when they're the very people that kidnapped you and sold you into slavery and kept you into slavery and wrote. You didn't have no money to lobby to get any of these laws written. They used the black-faced demons to take you and to turn you away from the truth that Elijah had brought to the original black man and woman. So in that, the plan, the lie, the trick was being done with the demons. So they used the black-faced demons, their black-faced children again, the preachers, and they paid them, and they walked with you, and they told you, and they prepped this mind state up, and they share with you, you have to teach this, and this is what they've been teaching. They've never shared that you're the true seed of Abraham. They took that, what Elijah was sharing or teaching, and they nullified it. Now, how do they do that, brothers? How? Now, listen. Martin Luther King. Hold up. Let's do it like this. I'm gonna begin like this. All right, brothers and sisters. This is a plan. And the scriptures let us know what they had in their mind. So they know they couldn't allow you to see any light. It's the only way that they could keep control of us. And it says, come, let us deal shrewdly with them. And they will increase even more. And if war breaks out, they will join our enemies, fight against us, and leave the country. Now, all right, brothers and sisters, I want to Do that again. This is more. That's said we must make a plan to keep them from growing even more. If we don't, and if war breaks out, they will join our enemies and fight against us, and they will escape from the country. Let us deal shrewdly with them. Now, let's deal shrewdly with them. Brothers and sisters. All right, brothers and sisters. Give me a moment. Let me see this. All right. Now, everything, now, this is everywhere that opposes America. Anybody opposes their dominance, their rule, their genocide, their colonialism, everyone that they deal with is a gook, a spook, an animal, a terrorist. As you see, no matter what terror that they impose, no matter how they bomb, kill children, women, and children, destabilize, the victim is always the terrorist, because it's not good for America, or it's not good for the Americans society, the people. So it's not good for America. Now, brothers and sisters, the counterintelligence program, black nationalist hate groups, racial intelligence. So anytime the black man and woman, the original black man and woman, the black man and woman, period, gets up to do something for self, we're labeled as terrorists, and we're attacked, destroyed, murdered, and broke apart. Used. So let's get into this. Prevent the coalition of militant black national groups in unity. There is strength. A treason that is no less valid for all the straightness and effective coalition of black nationalist group might be the first step forward to a real Mayu black revolutionary army in America, the beginning of a true black revolution. Prevent the rise, listen, brothers and sisters, all of this that is being done is to prevent the rise of a black Messiah who will unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Malcolm X might have been such a Messiah. He is a martyr of the movement. He is a martyr of the movement today. Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael, and Elijah Muhammad all aspire to this position. Elijah Muhammad is less of a threat because of his age. King could be very real, a very real contender for this position should he. Now listen, brothers and sisters. They knew that Martin Luther King and those with him was pushing their agenda. That cancer thought, that cancer thinking that was the churches was pushing, Master's Children was pushing. Now, it tells you, should he abandon supposed obedience to white liberal doctrines? If he abandoned them, then he opposes a sure threat. So when Martin Luther King started, after speaking with Elijah, and they heard his messages changing, and he gave the Promised Land speech, which the churches, the Christians, the preachers have been shared not to speak on. The SCLC, all the Southern Christianship Leadership paid they were all paid, started by the false Jews. Now, so they were shared not to speak. You can never speak on the true seed of Abraham. You can never speak on the Abraham covenant. You can't speak on the Abraham vision. That cannot be spoken on. It's a part of their indoctrination in their school of theology. The Christians are sharing with you that false Israel is a true seed of Abraham. Now, let's say if he abandoned his supposed obedience to the white liberal doctrine, nonviolence, and embraced black nationalism, Carmichael has the necessary charisma to be a real threat in this way. Okay. Okay. It says prevent militant black nationalist group leaderships from growing respectability. This is what they used to. This is the process that they would take out on us, and the same process they're using throughout the world in nations today, as nations form resistance factors, and this is the same principles that they're using against Iran, Syria, the Shia Muslims, Hamas, Hezbollah. Listen, by discrediting them to three separate segments of the community, the goal is of discrediting black nationalists must be handled tactically. In three ways, you must discredit these groups and individuals to first, the responsible Negro community. That's the demon community. You have to discredit them. Second, they must be discredited to the white community, both the responsible community and the liberals who have vestiges of sympathy for militant black nationalists simply because they are Negroes. Third, these groups must be discredited in the eyes of the Negro radicals, the followers of the movement. This last area requires entirely different tactics from the first two. Publicity about violent tendencies and radical statements merely enhance black nationalism to the last group. It adds respectability in a different way. So they're consistently lying, using their TV, using their papers to put these lies, this disinformation, this propaganda. Their propaganda wheel is constantly spinning on lies to discredit any movement, any black man, and separate you from the inside, separate you from see, brothers and sisters, first separating, using their seed, knowing that their seed is more likely, no, their seed is definitely likely to side with America in its dream, to want more inside of America and want less of what they call I'll think of it. I have to keep moving. As the final goal, should be to prevent a long-range growth of militant black organizations, especially among youth. Specific tactics to prevent these groups from converting young people must be developed. The same thing that Willie Lynch shared with you, that in the Willie Lynch is to keep the youth, the young, and make them fight the old. This is the same. But you have to look at the Willie Lynch, because this is the same tactics, brothers and sisters, that they're repeating. They're using them again. Tactics, okay. Specific tactics to prevent these groups from converting young people must be developed. Primary targets of the counterintelligence program, black nationalist hate groups, should be the most violent. So they making this seem like they're the most violent and radical groups and their leaders. We should emphasize those leaders and the organization that are nationwide in scope and are most capable of disrupting this country. These target members are followers of the Student Nonviolence Coordination Committee, the SNCC. So they was funded by the false Jews. SNCC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, funded, brought about by the false Jews. The Revolutionary Action Movement, RAM. Here we are. Nation of Islam, officials handling these cases and those of Stokely Carmichael and SNCC, H. Rap Brown of SNCC, Martin Luther King of SCLC, Maxwell Stanford of RAM, and Elijah Muhammad of the Nation of Islam should be alert for counter counterintelligence. So, brothers and sisters, the war to deal shrewdly with us, to keep your mind, keep you from ever receiving your mind, getting your mind back, ever seeing yourself as for who you are. Never to resonate with the Abrahamic covenant. Never to see yourself as the true seed of Abraham. As they put these dynamics around you to give you who the true seed of Abraham is, to keep you from ever questioning what's been fed in your mind as a child to your mother, to your grandmother. This train of thought, this same tool that they've been using for 400 years, over 400, the Willie Lynch letter. Southern horrors, Lynch, laws in all its phases. Brothers and sisters, now, in closing, brothers and sisters, the messenger of the covenant the Lord whom you seek. Malachi 3:1. Behold, I will send my messenger who will prepare the way before me. Then the Lord whom you seek will suddenly come to his temple, the messenger of the covenant, in whom you delight. See, he is coming, says the Lord of hosts. Brothers and sisters, Elijah was sent to prepare the way before the Lord whom you seek, the messenger of the covenant. Elijah shared with the world that the original black man and woman of America is the true seed of Abraham. The messenger of the covenant came and reminded the original black man and woman of the covenant, that they have the FBI, the CIA, every part of America intelligence has went into motion to keep the Willie Lynch mindset, to keep us away from understanding what time the world is in, what time and what The truth is about who we are. So to keep us from seeing or recognizing any light of the truth. Now, the messenger of the covenant, the one sharing it, the original black man and woman. The vision of the Abrahamic covenant applies to you. We are the people that have been in a strange land, enslaved and afflicted for 400 years. We're the people that our minds was taken from us. We're that people. We're that people that Martin Luther King said, I might not get there, but that promised land, he's seen it after Elijah shared with him, spoke with him. The covenant in that same day, brothers and sisters. It says, in that same day. Woo, brothers and sisters. I don't know. Okay. Oh, brothers and sisters. In that same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. The promised land. So, brothers and sisters, the Ishmaelites, Hagar's seed, or half brothers, is sitting on our land. They sold us out. America and Britain set up false Israel to take our identity. And as there are abominations that are causing that cause desolation, because they are in a land, standing in a land of people standing in a land where they shouldn't be at. That's going to cause their desolation. False Israel's destruction is near. False Israel will be destroyed very soon, this year, in a few days, brothers and sisters. Now, America and Britain, Gog and Magog, God, woo, for the mother of God, Magog, 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 the mother of God, Gog and Magog. It's brothers and sisters that has oppressed us. This is Egypt. They're enslaved and afflicted us and have tried in every aspect to kill us off. Kill us. They've 20 million babies being killed in the, what's her name? Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, the trying to in the giving the black man Tuskegee, giving us our black men syphilis, the jabs that they give our children, causing autism in black youth, the food that is poisoning us, the dietary laws that they set to destroy us, all these things that they're using, and they have countless people out there that they call, what they call them? Whistleblowers. Programs that America has funded to destroy the black man, to destroy the black man and woman, to separate us, to keep us from uniting, period. Now, brothers and sisters, to destabilize the family, empowering the woman, can't her keep going to him while he pat her hand. Their whole society, their laws, their policies is to enslave the black man into penitentiaries, send the jobs off to other countries, enriching other countries, keeping the black man down, putting drugs on us, lying, constantly feeding this narrative in their propaganda wheel of what the black man is, what he stands for, and constantly feeding our children from youth to walk around with their pants sagging and have no respect. Things that they put in movies and they promote to our children through their songs, through their radio stations. They control it all, and to keep our minds and funding our minds on sport and play, never seeing who we are. Now, brothers and sisters, the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, the man of the hour, has came with the unsealed scriptures, the 22 chapters of the Injil, to give us our minds back. Behold, I will send my messenger to prepare the way before me. Then the Lord whom you seek, will suddenly come to his temple. So, brothers and sisters, the messenger of the covenant will suddenly appear in the nation of Islam. To share with us to flee, to share with us this message of the Injil will be spoke and taught all over the world. Brothers and sisters, the messenger of the covenant is bringing and is giving us and it has reminded us of the covenant that they want to keep from us. So we're not taking any reparations. How can a people that don't own anything, that's trillions of dollars in debt, give you anything? What are you going to sell out or take anything for what we've been enduring, your forefathers has been enduring through for this time when God has promised us that we're coming out with great substance, and that nation whom we serve, he is judging. Now, America and Britain, and showing that they reminding, because I have to remind you, showed it earlier, let me remind you. Let's remind you here we are. Of the abomination of desolation. And we're at the tip. We're at the doorstep of the apocalypse. Michael, Master Fard Muhammad, and his angels, Iran and Syria, are about to go to war any day with the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia, the Ishmaelites that's sitting on our land. They're the dragon, and their angels are Britain, false Israel, and America. These are the main characters, along with the Sunni and the Shia Muslims, along with Michael and his angels, Iran and Syria. This is war. They're calling it World War III. It's the apocalypse in scripture, brothers and sisters, that the abomination of desolation warns you of the time that is at hand. The war that broke out, the abomination of desolation that is taking place by the hands of false Israel, America, Britain, and the West, that are supplying this, that is backing, supplying, and funding this genocide. Now, brothers and sisters, the messenger of the covenant is sharing, getting us, letting us know to turn our minds, to get our minds back. And the messenger of the covenant will suddenly appear in Elijah's temple when the war, after the war starts, after the apocalypse begins, before there's a victor or anyone being defeated. So before there's victory or defeat, the messenger of the covenant, Daniel the prophet, Suleiman, will appear in the nation of Islam. They're going to remove the chief demon, Louis Farrakhan, as we have it. Now, brothers and sisters, Louis Farrakhan, he sits in the temple of God, claiming that he is God. He exalts himself above all that is called God. Brothers and sisters, look, I'm giving out of the synagogue of Satan, of the saying themselves Jews to be, and they are not. And not they are, but they are lying. He's about to be removed. He's saying that he's the true seed of Abraham, and he's not. So, brothers and sisters, again, they have set one of their agents, one of their children, their black-faced children, one of their seeds in the color of the original man or woman, but they're the seed of their father. Now, this is Percival Clark, Louis Farrakhan's Caucasian, white, man, and a Portuguese Jew. This is his father. Louis Farrakhan also in the Jewish magazine shares that he knows that his grandparents of his father was his father's mother, and his father's father, which is his grandfather, was white, Caucasian, white, Portuguese, false Jews. So he knows he's not the seed of Abraham. Now, that's a fact. Now, brothers and sisters, with that being a fact, so there's no way that he's the true, the seed of Abraham. He has nothing coming from the covenant. So he defiles the covenant. He tells you you're not going anywhere. He tells you you're sinful. And he's the one that was sitting, that was put in charge. That he shares. He was in charge. He was the head spokesperson for the Nation of Islam at the time of the messengers taken. He's the one that didn't say anything, nothing, that the Nation of Islam belonged to the members. He didn't make any, he made no accusations at all. That's how the Nation of Islam went into probate court, where Wallace got his hands on the assets. And Louis Farrakhan was right with him. And they started the Balalians. Now, that noise. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. Now, the son of perdition. Brothers and sisters, let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the son of perdition is revealed. Excuse me. Let me read that again. Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away came. For the falling, unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed. The man of sin, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshiped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Now, brothers and sisters, the man of sin means he's weak and wicked by nature. The Nation of Islam was dissolved. It was beheaded. It wasn't any Nation of Islam. It said, let no one deceive you by any means. The falling away, the nation was beheaded. It wasn't anymore Nation of Islam. Louis Farrakhan and Wallace began the Balalians. So he's telling you he's causing the falling away. You're falling away from the wicked Jews. Like it's two parts, it's two different Jews. And the scriptures tell them they're not, none of them is righteous. Not one. However, the falling away came first. And the man of sin, that means he's by nature, a Caucasian white man that's been made weak and wicked by nature. And the son of a false Jew, or son of sin, son of the synagogue of Satan, that is sitting in the temple of God, claiming that he's God, exalting himself above all. The son of perdition is the one that is sitting in the temple of God. So this is directly speaking about Louis Farrakhan. And he trying to say, listen, brothers and sisters, it says and the man, not the men, not the nation. He's trying to say that the false Jews are the son of perdition. No, it said the man of sin is revealed. That the man, the one, the son of perdition, the man. He's the man. He's the only one sitting in the temple of God, claiming that he is God, that he's the black Messiah. And let us wrap this up.
Although the Nation of Islam does not presently advocate violence by its members. The group does preach hatred of the white race and racial separatism. The membership of the Nation of Islam is organized and poses a real racial threat. The Nation of Islam is responsible for the largest black nationalist newspaper, which has been used by other black extremists. The Nation of Islam appears to be the personal fiefdom of Elijah Muhammad. When he dies, a power struggle can be expected and the Nation of Islam could change direction. We should be prepared for this eventuality. We should plan how to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation, deleting the race hatred and separate nationhood aspects. In this connection, Chicago should consider what counterintelligence action might be needed now or at the time of Elijah Muhammad's death to bring about such a change in Nation of Islam philosophy. Important considerations should include the identity, strengths, and weaknesses of any contenders for Nation of Islam leadership. What are the positions of our Eurodeletion informants in regard to leadership? How can potential leaders be turned or neutralized? The alternative to changing the philosophy of the Nation of Islam is the destruction of the organization. This might be accomplished through generating factionalism among the contenders for Elijah Muhammad's leadership or through legal action in probate court on his death. Chicago should consider the question of how to generate the factionalism necessary to destroy the Nation of Islam by splitting into several groups. Eurodeletion. You think that the FBI just folded and walked away? Read this document carefully. Did not the FBI accomplish each of their goals? Did not Farrakhan deliver everything the FBI wanted? We should plan to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation. Sunniism, Scientology. Deleting the race hatred. Don't call devils anymore. Deleting the separate nationhood aspects. We ain't going nowhere. No existing economic program. The reason why these facts are ignored is because those that surround him are demons, fools, idolaters and FBI agent handlers who make sure he stays on track.
All right, brothers and sisters. Now, this is they have set one of their children in the Nation of Islam. And he went to work to get rid of or change the teachings. They call it philosophy, but it's not a philosophy. These are facts. Now, to change the teachings of the Nation of Islam to one strictly religious and self-improvement, deleting the race hatred or separate nation aspect. We wasn't taught to hate. That's not the teaching. We were to love self. and want to be separated from our enemies. So it's always a tailspin on it that you hate them because we're the hated. So we have to hate them to love ourselves, to want for ourselves, to be separated. So to do and want for self, just like they're doing the Palestinians. The rest of the world. Anytime you're doing for self and you're against them, you're a terrorist. The alternative to change the teachings of the Nation of Islam is the destruction of the organization. So to change the teachings will destroy the light that you're needed to see to get your brain that point of that is turning your mind around. This is the Willie Lynch to keep you away from the light, the truth of who you are, the light to keep you away from your vision, to keep you from knowing that you're the true seed of Abraham. So they're suppressing, killing the truth that was shared. They went after it in war tactics. They tell to change or to eliminate, exterminate, kill, assassinate anyone that gets in our way, anyone that can be or look like the Black Messiah. We cannot let him rise. That's how, brothers and sisters, they know exactly the time that this is being spoken on. They know that who you are. They know that this applies to us because there's no other people that has been taken from their land, inflicted in a strange land, and it served 400 years up under the foot of a nation. And that nation is being judged 1619 to 2019 as we move on. To change the teachings is the destruction of the Nation of Islam. This might be accomplished through generating factionalism among the contenders for Elijah Muhammad leadership. So in this, they take, this is like they're doing now. Take the leaders, contenders, and they had said, where do we at? Where are we at? Which of these leaders are agents for us? Spies. Which one of them? We have many of them inside the Nation of Islam. So they took those that was qualified or up in leadership that had somebody that will follow, and they said we have to create this factionalism, so we have to split them into many groups. So they have to basically do again, they have to help assist and fund these entities and allow them to present their self as a representative of Elijah Muhammad, to pull whichever mindset or to pull those that are thinking, that have the original man, his mind, his reality, his nature is speaking to him and he's looking for it. So they got all these setups that will catch the ear of the original man and his nature, where they have these individuals with that are cancers, plotting and sitting as if they represent Elijah Muhammad. And none of them, and the scriptures say, all before me are liars and thieves. And brothers and sisters, this is a calculated plan to keep us separated and to keep these different teachings. And the chief demon, Louis Farrakhan, he's the chief demon that has taken you, set in the seat of God, this son of a Caucasian white man named Percival Clark and a Portuguese false king. So he's the seed of the synagogue of Satan. He has nothing to do with the true seed of Abraham. Nothing. He despises the covenant because he has no place in it. He knows that we as a people is going to destroy his father, him and his father, and everything about them. So, this is, he has you worshiping Sunnism. He shares with you, Master Farah Muhammad ain't the God, the originator is the God. And that the Nation of Islam sees Master Prophet Muhammad as the last and greatest messenger of Allah. Peace be unto him. Denouncing the messenger like he did in the beginning. Denouncing Master Farah Muhammad like he did in the beginning. In the beginning, as he was saying that he was supposed to be the head spokesman, he denounced Elijah and the messenger immediately after Elijah, and has been pushing to destroy the teaching. This is something that they're doing calculated. They impose and take. That's why the son of man, this new idiot that's saying he's the son of man. You don't know nothing. You got the American flag up, and they're causing fashionalism to keep you from ever looking, searching, from seeking, from even seeing the truth, the messenger of the covenant that is in your face, that is supplying you with detailed information of the time. Details. That's been doing it far in advance and every day. What's been shared comes more and more into focus. HD and five, what did they call, and what's it called? Five, 5K, or what, five, whatever they call it. Brothers and sisters, it says, or, or through the actions in probate court on his death, Chicago should consider the question of how to generate the fashionism necessary to destroy the nation of Islam by splitting it into several groups. By splitting it into several groups. How to destroy the nation of Islam, brothers and sisters. The nation of Islam Elijah was the most watched person in U.S. history. And their plan is to stop the rise of the Black Messiah. However, brothers and sisters, he did not succeed. The Lord whom you seek will suddenly appear in the messenger's temple, the nation of Islam, when this war, after the war starts, to give you and me instructions to flee and to give us, to prepare you with the Injil, the 22 chapters of the unsealed scriptures of Revelation that will give you your mind, that will give you your mind that was taken from you, and they're trying to keep from you with all of these cancer cells, keeping a cancer separating and the cancer attacking our good thinkers, original people with that cancer mind that they have embedded into our people. So, brothers and sisters, I'm going to bring this to a close. And want to keep us blind, keep us from knowing who we are. And it's too much. They can't stop what's going to take place. And before false Israel is destroyed, brothers and sisters, they're going to send out a national security alert before America and Britain is kicked out the Middle East to kill all blacks. Because they know why they haven't been successful and what's taking place from scripture standpoint and what's being shared by the messenger of the covenant. That everything is coming to a head. So before false Israel is destroyed, because they got to do it before false Israel is destroyed, because false Israel is the lie that they have the world thinking and have your mind, the black man, this Christian, the black man and woman of America got their mind thinking that false Israel is the true seed of Abraham. And when that's removed, brothers and sisters, overnight, we're going to come together like a mighty army. A mighty army. And we'll be cheered to flee free. And with that, I'm going to reach in and read the words of peace, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.